You've got a home for sale. It's either on the market now or it's going to be in the near future. And there's lots of details we've thought about, but in the back of your mind, you've thought, once we get these offers, how long do I actually have to respond to them? Well, we're going to talk about that today. Stay tuned. Hi, I'm JC, Agajanian Broker Associate with the Whissel Realty Group at eXp, and today we're talking about response times as the contract allows in an offer to purchase on your home. So to start with, in theory, there's really no rule about how quickly you as a seller have to respond to offers to purchase that have come through. You can take as long as you want before responding because there's really no official time frame. In fact, you could even choose not to respond at all. It's not recommended, but you are not obligated by any real rules when it comes to this. You should know that the industry standard is to get back to an interested party within 24 to 72 hours of receiving that offer, though. And that's kind of a common courtesy that we observe amongst each other and with professionals and with other sellers and buyers throughout the industry. So really, there's only a couple things you can do as a seller to respond to an offer. You can accept the offer as is. This, believe it or not, does happen from time to time. Usually it's the result of a lot of good communication between your agent and the agent on the other side. Likely to be the fact or the case that there is hot competition for a property like yours, and the agent on the other side is just saying, hey, we've lost out time to time. Tell me exactly what I have to do. Not only price-wise and what the sellers need as far as their time in the property and things like that, but what title company are you going to work with? What escrow company are you going to work with? Are there any admin fees that we not to worry about on the buy side that you defer on the sell side? Like, they ask everything, and when they do a good job and they know that they want to put their buyer in the prime position to get that acceptance, they write something that's actually able to be accepted as is. And we love that on the sell side of things because it just makes our job easier because they're really doing what we would have done anyways in the form of counteroffers. Now, that leads me to the second thing you can do. You can simply counter. And this is the most common thing that is done on a regular basis. And there's lots of reasons why we send counteroffers out. Of course, price and terms are the first things that we talk about. Closing costs come up, closing dates come up, occupancy dates. A lot of times the seller may need to be in the home after the period of closing has come and gone. So maybe there's a post-occupancy date that we need to discuss. And the list goes on and on. So there's lots of reasons we may send a counter offer. A lot of times people don't think about the third option, but you can actually just go ahead and reject an offer outright in writing. This doesn't happen often either, but there are times when it's appropriate. Really, if it's just, such a low offer that it's insulting and that it's not even worth countering, you might want to do this. My recommendation is, even if it's in that situation where we're literally offended by the price or the terms or the combination of that in the offer that we don't even want to respond, we are likely going to be better off at least giving them something in writing, stating our position and where we want things to land, as opposed to doing nothing at all. That is, of course, unless there's some extenuating circumstances. Maybe the agent on the other side has made it clear that this is an investor offer. They're not willing to negotiate or budge. And if you like the terms and you want to be quick and easy about it, maybe you give them a really low price. Okay, something like that might lead to a situation where we just reject it outright. But usually the encouragement is to draw them in with some sort of negotiation. There's other reasons why you just might not respond to an offer at all. Kind of like we said about rejecting an offer just now, if the number itself is just way in the sky, like maybe they're trying to do something silly that you're not familiar with, or it's way too low and they're not negotiating in good faith, we might just ignore it. Maybe you want to review more than one offer that you anticipate coming in all at once. So you're not going to respond, maybe not at all, but not right now. And as long as there's good communication between your agent and the buy-side agent, then that's fine. And in some cases, you've just got a period of time that is not set to gather up offers, but you've just decided before you even go to market, like, listen, I don't care what happens. I'm not accepting an offer until I've at least had that initial open house on opening weekend. Or, I used to work for banks back in the day selling foreclosures, and they had hard rules. They were not going to sell a property before it had been on the market for a minimum of 10 days. That includes one weekend and 10 days marketed time. And once it hits that, they're willing to receive and negotiate. But up until then, they didn't want to look at anything. They said, sorry, we've got our minimums. You as a seller can draw the same rules and put that line in the sand and say, listen, this is how we're going to conduct the sale of our property. And so there are times when it makes sense to simply not respond to an offer, but usually there's some good communication that needs to accompany that decision and get that information over to whoever is representing the buyer on the other side of things. Now, how are you going to prepare to accept the best offer for your home? That's really what you want, right? So first and foremost, we need to clearly identify the most important factors of the sale. If it's purely price, then make it known to your agent. I don't care about anything else. Price is what I want. I need to maximize it because of X, Y, and Z. That's the most important thing. Now, it's not the case for everybody. A lot of people prefer ease over price. And those are the type of people that might come to me and say, hey, do you have any investors that you work with? Do you know anybody who might be an end user, but you happen to be working with them, or maybe a coworker is working with them, and we can put them into the property without exposing it to the market, without bringing people through for open houses, without having people ask on a regular basis if they can come see the property with their realtor. I don't want to deal with any of that. Ease is my priority. Sometimes it's time. Time is the most important factor. How quickly can I get this done? I've got something else pressing that I need to do with that money, or maybe there's a tax deadline of some sort, and time is important. There's lots of different things that are going to weigh in on your decision on how to accept the best offer, and truly on how to decide what is the best offer for you. It's not going to be the same for everyone. Assuming you do have multiple offers, eventually we're going to get to the point where we're comparing them against each other. And if there's one that we really like above and beyond the other, we're either going to accept that or adjust the terms and conditions and maybe even price from the other people that may have some other compensating factors, like a larger down payment or maybe a bigger reserve fund or whatever the case may be. And we can pick who we really want to work with of the multiple situation. We can true up the terms and conditions, even the price, and we can send out counters accordingly and really hand select who that partner is we're going to be dancing with through the rest of the escrow period. Finally, you've got to make sure that you have an experienced and confident agent walking you through this whole process. Even though it seems kind of subtle and not dramatic, there are a lot of things that can alter the way your transaction goes. And so having someone who knows exactly what's going to happen, who's done it hundreds of times before, is truly going to come in clutch in the last minute when it comes time to not only pick who you're going to work with, but to work through any potential kinks, roadblocks, hassles that inevitably come up in real estate transactions, and make sure they get you across the finish line. Of course, I'm willing, able, and happy to fill that role for you or for anybody else that you might know who's considering moving through this process. So please feel free to shoot a quick group text and sync us up if that's the case. Any other questions or more details you want to have an in-depth conversation about things like this or other related items, I'm happy and available. Reach out with a comment or a message below, and I'll talk to you soon.